Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Tom Bogart, and today's the second update video podcast. We're streaming on YouTube and Rumble now. Make sure you head over there, like and subscribe. We appreciate you watching. Today is just a brief history of Move Freely America, how it came to be, and we look forward to talking to you. Hi, and welcome back. And the brief history of Move Freely America. We all started as organized airline groups under a different banner way back in August when United Airlines announced mandatory vaccinations for all its airline employees. And we, at Southwest Airlines, we had began creating organic, grassroots email list in the spring prior to that. A couple of us, me and Coulter, had seen that coming for quite some time. So we were collecting an email list to get everybody with like minds together. Well, shortly after United Airlines announced they had a town hall here in Spring, Texas, at a local church. David Hogan, he runs him and his father run a church here called Spring First Church, and they had a big auditorium. And I'll tell you what, I walked in that auditorium one night, had my kids with me, and I think it was 750 seats. It was standing room only. And it was the first time in a year or a year and a half. And I was like, wow, I am not alone. Town hall was hosted by Sherry Walker, Laura Cox, and the group that then turned into Airline Employees for Health Freedom, AE4HF. And just they gave a brief rundown about what was going on. They had Matt Staver from Liberty Counsel show up via Zoom on the big screens on the television. It was a really a great production they put together in a very, very short amount of time. But they were the ones who led the charge, as they were the first airline to go through this issue with mandatory vaccination. So I had known Sherry. She lived in a neighborhood that I used to live in, and quickly began work. I moved our people off of the email chain, as there's just no way to keep up with a couple hundred people on an email chain. I was familiar with the Telegram app, and we began to organize on Telegram, and we quickly grew from a couple hundred people into 8,000 employees and friends from across the nation. Each airline in America has its own Freedom Flyers group, much the same as Southwest Freedom Flyers. However, Southwest Freedom Flyers was more than twice the size of all the other airline groups combined, which was quite a feat. But as most of you know, Southwest employees are their own unique breed of airline employee, and we're very, very, very passionate about our company and our culture. And we had a lot of people who resisted, and various airlines had various levels of success. The United Airline employees were put out on unpaid indefinite leave if you had a religious exemption back in December. And that is extremely unfortunate. For those of you who don't know, the United employees, and then later in early January, the Hawaiian airline employees, the same thing, were basically squeezed into compliance. Either comply or you're out on the street, period. Those employees who are on unpaid leave are not allowed to get a job anywhere else, even, let's say, Home Depot. If you're caught getting another job, you're terminated. And the way United gets away with that is they keep their employees on what they call active status, that they could be called back at any time. They had to be ready to go. They were also had their travel, their standby travel privileges revoked. They lost their medical insurance, and they were also not allowed to take hardship loans from their 401ks. So they're essentially financially squeezed into bending the knee, and our hearts go out to them. I work with them as much as possible. I've done everything I can to help them, and I will continue to do so. I think it's just super unfortunate the way Scott Kirby at United Airlines is treating those people. All the other airlines had various levels of implementation. Us at Southwest Airlines, everybody's religious exemption was approved. The company claims that 93% of the group, of all the workforce, 55,000 employees, 93% either are vaccinated or received a medical or religious exemption, although they don't break out the details about exactly how many people have religious exemptions or medical exemption versus vaccinated employee force. So right now they have just a temporary stay on implementing the vaccination at Southwest Airlines pending litigation. The federal contractor mandate is what we are under, and that has a stay placed on it in a lower court, though it has not gone to the Supreme Court yet. So it remains to be seen what Southwest Airlines will do specifically, as they refuse to say that unpaid leave is not a reasonable accommodation like United and Hawaiian is doing. However, with the airline that they want to run, I don't think that they can afford to lose all the people with exemptions, or even those of us who didn't file anything, as the current staffing is actually quite short of what they need for future projected flying. So nobody wants to bite the hand that feeds them, right? I mean, that's just a simple esoteric understanding of life. And we decided that we did not want to go to route. We don't want to get into a lawsuit with the corporation. It's time consuming. It's extremely expensive. It expends all your energy. And I decided that since Southwest has been kind and treating its employees to the best of its ability, at least currently, that we would then organize by state and start to work with our local government, our elected representatives, and try to push legislation as a citizen instead of playing smash mouth with a corporation. I don't think that's a smart idea. Back in September, Kay Angel, who is a close friend and business confidant, decided that she would begin Move Freely America. And basically its current structure right now was all built from her. So thank you, Kay, for doing that. She incorporated Move Freely America on September 25th. And I decided in late December that I would take over Move Freely America and get it on its feet and get its legs going. And what we're doing is we're using the Medical Freedom Act as the cornerstone of our initial operation. MedicalFreedomAct.org was created by a JetBlue pilot, a super smart guy, and he has a beautiful website here. It's pretty comprehensive, but as you can go to the MedicalFreedomAct.org website, click framework up here at the top, and it's a 50-page comprehensive bill that works on both the state and federal level. Some of it is just federally written, but you can tailor this to your liking with your elected representative to get it implemented on the state level, which is what we want to do first. You can download the entire 50-page document right here in this download PDF, or you can look at it individually here as it's broken out into 26 different pieces. When you click on a section, it just brings you to that written section for, like here, section 22, employee protections. So you can take the entire bill and elect a representative, or you can go piece by piece. Obviously, you're not going to get an entire bill passed in one shot like this. It's going to have to go piece by piece, and we need to understand, and the volunteers need to understand that this is not a flash in the pan operation. This is a decades-long endeavor that we're setting out to accomplish. So everybody needs to understand that we need to build the relationships with our elected officials and make sure that they understand that not only are we serious, but that we're not going to go away. We have lots of resources on this website. and talking papers, way to take notes. We have the website. You can take the notes from your meeting and implement into the database, and we can track these government officials over time to see how they react to what we're pushing. And then even we have training pieces here and videos. You can understand what Medical Freedom Act is, an overview, and then the training piece that we covered under the first one. We do need volunteers. So if you're interested in working for what you need to do to work in Move Freely and with Medical Freedom Act, is we have a lot of overlap right now, but in the future, we're going to move away from just medical freedom, and we'll begin to attack other issues that are important to citizens in each of their states. We started with 5 states, and we've moved into 26 states, and we continue to grow as the word gets out. And it's very important that we organize by state so that we can make friends in our local communities, but we can also get to know our elected representatives better, as I think that that's what the conservative movement is generally lacking, is civic engagement. I aim to change that with Move Freely America. We're going to train our people basic civic knowledge using a group out of Florida, Liberty for Society. We talked a little bit about them in the last video, excuse me. And we are going to give our people basic civic knowledge using the training that Liberty for Society, Chris Ann and her husband JC here have given us. And this program, again, $10 a month for all Move Freely America volunteers. And I highly recommend that you go and check that out. We're going to have the details on implementation of that and how you can sign up for that special 50% off discount in the next video later this week. So go ahead and check out Liberty for Society. Watch the non-compliant video. It'll give you the baseline understanding of what we're trying to do at Move Freely, using the Medical Freedom Act as our cornerstone for the operation. So that's the long and short of what we're doing at Move Freely. My long-term goals, I would like to see it turn into a big, not only civic engagement, but also civic knowledge and education, and branch out into educating as many Americans as we can get our hands on in all industries, not just the transportation industry. So any of your friends, any of your family, anybody who's ready to do something instead of just talk about something, I encourage you to steer them to Move Freely America. Have them sign up for the email. The email service will be set up shortly. We'll start sending out weekly emails, and we'll get them put into their respective states. We ask that you go and seek out the state that you live in and vote in, as that's where we're going to organize, and that's where you as a constituent can get the most traction in what we're trying to do here. I'd also like to see Move Freely turn into something along the lines of what Charlie Kirk has done over at TPUSA, and offer scholarships to high school students going into college who take the path and want to get more engaged in government and in their local communities. I also want to promote people who decide to stand up and run for office, as that's another big piece of what we need to do as Americans, is get involved in government, not only in being a constituent and meeting with your elected representatives, but maybe even running for office, all the way down to the school board level. We have Ken Davenport over in Florida, who's running for a House seat in the primaries. He's on the ballot. He's done the footwork and the legwork to get himself there, and we're going to promote him to the best of our ability. I'm going to have him on as my first interview on the podcast. And by the way, we are streaming on both Rumble and YouTube. Yeah. So go ahead and subscribe and like our videos. If you are watching on either one of those platforms right now, we certainly appreciate that, and thank you. We have somebody else, Christine LaBelle, who's running for township chair over in Arizona. We'll be interviewing her, and we have another person running for House in Nevada. So 3 people decided to run just based on the little bit of work that we've done getting Move Freely set up and getting the different employee organized groups set up. So super proud of those people. We want to get them promoted. And my goal is in 2024 to have 100 Move Freely volunteers run for office. So those are short and long-term goals. I hope that makes you understand a little bit more about what we're doing here at Move Freely. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you again in the near future. Thanks for watching.